Mr. Platinum Man 1989 here with probably the last No Surrender review on YouTube. I am very sorry it is so late. My camera was acting up. It's like so many freaking obstacles try to prevent me from having a proper, consistent running YouTube. Now, let's just get started. First match, we have the Beautiful People versus Sarita and Taylor Wilde for the new Knockouts Tag Team title. Now, I'm glad that Madison Rayne ended up filling the spot for Angelina because they don't necessarily have to bring in the big bucks just to bring back or bring in somebody just for to have this first match or whatever, when they have their own talent that some of them don't get used. So why not have Madison? But they never really explained about the whole Madison and that Velvet, actually let her be a part of them. I don't know. Either way, I am glad that they acknowledged that Angelina Love had to be released. Now I expect the Sarita and Taylor Wilde to win. Good match. It was what it was. Short. Hey, they were the better team. They should have won. They're the first champions. Hooray! Now, Eric Young versus Hernandez. Now Eric Young cut a pretty good promo in my opinion, where he was saying that he's not gonna do anything just to prove to him. And those are the best heels in my opinion. The ones that they're so evil, but at the same time, they're pretty respectable. He was saying that he wants Hernandez to see that he's serious, that he's not just joking around with him. So he said that he was gonna go out there without ring gear and all that stuff, and he did. And Hernandez beat the shit out of him, and the match was over. 1, 2, 3. Now, it was a short match. It was what it was. Eric Young didn't attack back. I liked it. Continues to push Hernandez, and at the same time, in my opinion, it does push Eric Young because he was a man of his word at that point of the night. So, Samoa Joe versus Daniels, great match, great X Division match. Back and forth action here and there. And then at the end, we saw Daniels tap out. Now, in a video I saw later on JB's YouTube, Samoa Joe said something about now he's going to be the X Division champion for years to come. Now, the way he said that, I don't know. It made me very interested to see how long his reign does go and what kind of opponents, and whenever he does lose the title, how exactly does he lose it. So it was a good match, great match, a lot of back and forth action. I can't believe I was actually reading people say that this was the worst match of the night. I mean, what the hell do you guys expect in some of these matches? Insane spot, like somebody falling from the top of the Titantron and going through a table and all that. It was just a solid match. Both people worked very good. Truth Slayer said that Samoa Joe looked sloppy, and they looked like they had no chemistry. I don't agree with that. It looked like they were exactly where they were supposed to be for every single angle of the match. Yes, Samoa Joe's heavier. We all know that. Hey, the bastard still can move pretty fast. I know if I was that fat, I'd just lay back and play video games all day. So, it was a great match. Samoa Joe goes over. Suicide versus D'Angelo Dinero, the Pope. Yo, Suicide. I like every time that he talks about Suicide, and he is so charismatic. It reminds me of wrestlers from back in the day, in the 80s, and of course the early 90s, when they would just talk, and they just had this kind of flavor and charisma when they speak. I am a huge fucking fan of the Pope, D'Angelo Dinero. I said I wouldn't curse no more, but I just had to curse for him because he's doing so good. Doing so great, and yeah, I never really knew much about Elijah Burke. That was a specific time where I was anti WWE, or it's a long story. Either way, I never seen an Elijah Burke match, so him coming in as D'Angelo Dinero was my first take on Elijah, and I'm very impressed with him, and he's so charismatic. He's great. And he went over in this match, which I think is good, and they're going to face off in the street fight tomorrow night on Impact. The beginning of this match was kind of sloppy. Well, it wasn't that it was sloppy. It was just like, it looked like they were just trying to have fun with random items and all that stuff. When it got back to the ring and the Titantron, it was much better, and I liked it. I liked it. I really did. Now, Cody Deaner versus ODB, the match I was talking the most crap about. It was actually pretty entertaining. Um, the back and forth action again, and Cody Deaner was being a very angry heel, like trying to cheat and do all this different type of stuff. Now, I think this is, of course, I was against this match even being on the card, but I think this is one of those restarts that TNA does. And what I mean by restarts is last year when the tag team division was really doing nothing, when Tom Cole and AJ were the champions, facing off Billet Bob and BG James and all that stuff, they had the Deuces Wild tournament, and from there on, the tag team titles had more legitimacy. We had LAX versus Team 3D, Beer Money formed. So many new teams coming into the tag team division, and from there on, the tag team division has been on point, right? The X Division title, they did one of these kind of restarts early this year with the tag team, with the X Division tournament, where the title was vacant. Also with the World X Cup last year, really pushing the division. Yeah, it's kind of like a restart. So this looks like the way ODB was talking about that she's gonna bring back respect and all that stuff to the title, and she called it the knockout title instead of the knocked up title. It looked like it had to reach its lowest point, and then from now on everything's gonna be gold when it comes to that division. Which brings me back to Scott D'Amore, which, if I remember right, he's gonna start working with the knockouts again, which is great news. And this could be a way, like I said, to restart it from now on. And tomorrow it's gonna be ODB and Tara versus Sarita and Taylor Wilde for the championship. Now, of course, I don't expect the girls to lose the belts that fast, but it will be interesting to see who goes over, because all four of them are faces. It looks like the knockouts division is going to be pretty fucking good from now on. Now, Kevin Nash versus Abyss. I said a bitch. Wow. Abyss. A match I was looking forward to highly on this card because of what the aftermath could mean for Bound for Glory. Mick Foley versus Abyss in a who knows what match, or a three-way, or whatever happens. I was really looking forward to this match, and it delivered for me because Mick Foley was right there on commentary, which adds him into the mix. And then there was a controversial ending. Well, it wasn't controversial. I'm making it sound more than it really was. But they pointed out that he handed him the bat with the barbed wire side first, which was like he was purposely trying to cost him the match. And tomorrow, this Thursday, they're going to be in a tag team match, which I expect to not go too well. And I just hope it continues to add to their feud, which I hope does exist, and I hope to see them Bound for Glory. So I like this match. People again complain about it. Do you expect Kevin Nash to do backflips? Somebody was saying that, oh, I could bet you $1 million Kevin Nash is not going to take a knee bump. Of course he's not going to take a knee bump. Why would he? That's like if Kurt Angle takes neck bumps every day in the... They was like, oh, I told you he wasn't going to take a neck bump. Ha ha ha. I mean, a knee bump. Ha 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 ha. What a punk. This and that. He's not a hard worker. He's lazy. Well, like I said, of course he wasn't going to take a knee bump. And Kevin Nash is still a great fucking storyteller when it comes to his matches. He really is. In my opinion, and that's why it's on my channel. The Lethal Lockdown match is actually the match that I found kind of boring in this card. To me, it started to really pick up and get exciting when these guys were in the top of the cage, and Robert Roode, Beer Money, and Brutus, and stuff like that. Like near the end, when everybody was into the mix, that's when it got exciting for me. I think it's just because it was so random, not properly built. And fact is, I think a fly just passed by here. I'm gonna rewind to see that later. That's disgusting. Anyways, every year Lethal Lockdown, I really look forward to the match at Lockdown, and I'm excited because there is something to gain and lose from this. Who's gonna win this year? But from here, it doesn't really matter who wins. There was no belts on the line. This match wasn't even built properly when it comes to the actual match itself. not the feud. So I didn't like this match too much. I liked the end of it. Beer money, yeah. Bobby Lashley versus Rhino. I guess that's his new finisher, a knockout punch. I expected this to be a squash, and I didn't want it to be a squash because I want Bobby Lashley to get as much in-ring work experience as he can, and his fight has been delayed. So what that means is we might see him compete at Bound for Glory, hopefully against Kurt Angle. Now it was a good match. Bobby Lashley looked great in the ring, and but I hope he doesn't really use that knockout as his finisher. And the main event, Kurt Angle versus Matt Morgan versus Sting versus AJ versus Hernandez. Watch part 2. I'm gonna talk about it there because I really want to talk about this match.